always forget to do. But you guys can hear me clearly. Am I coming in loud and clear? Don't have my normal setup here right now, but if I'm coming in, good. Thank you. Thank you guys for confirming that. All right. So we get a lot of information that's pertaining to the tax filings, and it's of course it's tax season. So you guys want to know exactly how to file that. Always remember this. You guys are here putting together your trust packets. Um, there is no timely filing when the trust is involved. I don't care if they send you all types of correspondences in the mail, pushing you and pushing you and pushing you to do that. Do not worry about it. Now, unless they're coming after you and they say there's an assessed amount and you don't want your accounts to be raided upon or pillaged, then just simply set up an arrangement, and then we can attack that using the accord and satisfaction process for those payments there. About a month ago, I had a private client call, and it was very successful. We actually showed the success of one of our doctors. He pays quarterly, but they were coming after him for about $63,000, and he did get his notice. We showed it to everybody. He does not have to pay that $63,000. The phrase that I want to talk to you today is about transfer of liability. Okay. So just bear with us. We're about ready to launch the webinars as well as the applications for you all, because I do know that you want us to, a handful of you would like us to do that portion for you. It's a lot of dirty work, but it'll get done. The webinars will show you how to do it, how to fill out each form, depending if you are a W-2 employee, quote unquote. But if you are a business operator, there are different forms you would file. We'll show that as well. Our team is just getting around to understanding how to do that. Like I said, it's a lot of information, because when you file, you have to be ready to put together certain correspondences to support what you've just filed. And that's the key. How do you back up what you're saying? Okay. If anybody has their microphone open, please mute your mics. Everybody, mute your mics. Go ahead and do that. Okay, everybody's mics are muted. And if you have video playback, remove your video playback so that way it's not distracting others. Your thumbnail is just fine. So, transfer of liability. I want to read some definitions to you. I want to actually go and do a little bit of homework with you so you understand what is to come. If you do not understand why we are doing this and how we have the right to do it, you will be lost. You will be lost when it comes time to filing taxes. Okay. So what I want to do is open up our Weiss Trustee Handbook. Okay. The Weiss Trustee Handbook, you all have a copy of that inside of the freshman course, or I believe maybe it's the sophomore course. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to review a section of that. So I'm going to read a paragraph here so we can get an understanding of what we're talking about. Let's read right here. It says, moreover, the declaration by its terms and provisions serves to establish the entire contractual arrangement, including the identities and positions of the parties, the trust name, jurisdiction, and situs, and all particulars of administration, of all which the courts of equity will fully support by the principle that equity compels performance. The ultimate result is the creation of a bona fide legal entity with its own separate and distinct juridical, I'm sorry, what is that? That's a misspell. It's jurisdictional personality, withstanding to use and be sued, and to function as a person in commerce by and through its trustees. The term natural person has been applied to express trust by courts of equity because of its administration being carried out by men acting as natural persons. Under this application, the trust right of contract is alienable, whereas its creator's natural right of contract obviously is not. What is the definition of alienable? I know you all know it, but we're going to go and see what their rules say it is. This is Cornell law. All right, we go and stop a few members' video playback so that we're not distracted. Trust me, I like to see everybody's good looking face, but we want to stay focused on the content on the screen. Alienable, an interest in property is alienable. What it means basically is it is transferable. So the process of doing your authentication of your birth certificate, that is the actual lien on file for the agriculture lien that they have on everybody for that afterbirth DNA material that they've taken on us when we were born. That is what they're putting all of that interest on and making whoever is claiming to be that person responsible for the taxes, whether property or employment or sales tax. Okay. You have to understand that an interest in property is alienable, transferable, if it may be conveyed by one party to another. In general, all private property is alienable unless some contractual, common law, or statutory restriction on it states otherwise. All right, let's go back. It says the express trust nevertheless possesses inter alia the right to all enjoyments stemming from the contracts in which it enters, as well as the obligations imposed under such contracts. The express trust possesses the ability to hold, own property, engage in business transactions, and incur liabilities, including tax liabilities, as well as assume creditorship, including secured party status, like any other legal person. That's important. So if you are a W-2 employee or a business operator, you're either going to get a W-4 at the end of the year, or you're going to get a 1099, even if you have done some online transactions with Amazon or capital gains and digital assets, Bitcoin, whatever. You're going to get a 1099. Well, you want to transfer that tax liability to the express trust. Why? Because of the property that it owns from its inception. Let's take a look here at, for example, a standard W-2. You see box 1, wages, box 2, the federal income tax that they have taken from this person's paycheck. Box 6, you have the Medicare section, and going down box 17, you have the state taxes. So what I really want you to pay attention to is box 13. If you all can see that, it says statutory employee, which there is no X or check mark. There is no marking there for good reason. When you fill out the W-4 and you give it to the employer, that W-4 is a non-withholding certificate, right? In the beginning of the freshman and sophomore courses, I have provided a template that you can attach to your W-4 saying that you want to exempt yourself from it. Some employers are with it, they understand it, they take it. And if they take it, box 2 will have 0. But some employers are not adept. They're running from it. They're kind of scared of it. So they say no. Either you do it our way or you go find another job. And then we've presented the W-8 bin or the W-8 bin E. Some employers have taken it, some haven't, right? It doesn't matter. Let them take it because I'm going to show you how to get it back at the end of the year. So in this case, they took it. They took $11,000 here. But what you need to understand is this document certifies your right as an independent contractor. If you were a statutory employee deserving of taxes to be taken out, box 13 would be checked. You have to really understand what they're talking about with these definitions. Look at statutory employee, and this is coming from irs.gov. It says, if workers are independent contractors under the common law rules, remember that phrase, and remember we're talking about transfer of liability, such as workers may nevertheless be treated as employees by statute, statutory employees for certain employment tax purposes if they fall within any one of the following four categories. So what four categories do you have to work in order to be considered a statutory employee? Number one, a driver who distributes beverages other than milk, meat, vegetable, fruit, or bakery products, who picks up and delivers laundry or dry cleaning if the driver is an agent or is paid on commission. Most of you don't do that. A full-time life insurance sales agent whose principal business activity is selling life insurance or annuity contracts, or both, primarily for one life insurance company. Some of you do that, but you don't just operate with one insurance company. You're contracted to operate with Mass Mutual, Guardian, New York Life, Ohio National. If it's more than one, then this doesn't apply to you. If you are a truck driver who drives for miles across state lines, this doesn't apply to you because you don't get paid on commissions. Number three, an individual who works at home on materials or goods that you supply and that must be returned to you or to a person you name if you also furnish specifications for the work to be done. That doesn't apply to most of you here. A full-time traveling or city salesperson who works on your behalf and turns in orders to you for wholesalers, retailers, contractors, or operators of hotels, yada, 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 yada. That doesn't apply. So if you're not a statutory employee, are you a statutory non-employee? No. For time purposes, you go check it and you'll see that doesn't apply. So the only other thing that would apply to you is an independent contractor. Okay? It says it is critical that business owners correctly determine whether the individuals providing services are employees or independent contractors. Generally, let me skip down. Let's go here. Let's look at the first scenario and see if this applies to you. I am an independent contractor or in business for myself. If you are a business owner or contractor who provides services to other businesses, then you are generally considered self-employed. Now, that word self-employed is important. Here's why. When you receive your W-4 at the end of the year, right? This document here, and you go to H&R Block or you use TurboTax, what form do they tell you to use? Well, they tell you to use the 1040. Look at the 1040. You go down to payments, and this is the section where you would put in whatever is in box 2. They took out $11,000. So federal income tax withheld from forms W-2. You put the $11,000. Now remember, I was talking about transfer of liability. Exactly. Look at part B. This is where you would fill out a form 1099. Right? This is how you transfer box 1 information over to the trust. Now, when you do that, that's going to lead you into another form, which is Schedule C, profit or loss from business. Remember, they just said you're self-employed if you're providing services to another business, and indeed you are. You're trading your time for dollars. Why? Because that business that you're giving your time to is earning a profit off of your labor, so much profit that they can give you a portion of their profit. You've just provided a service, not for you, but for the contractor. So that would mean you're in the business as a sole proprietor. You're not an employee, you're an independent contractor. And what's funny is the 1040 links to Schedule C, Schedule 1, Schedule SE, and 1099. And they want you to attach it to Form 1040. That would allow you to come down into where it says Part 1. And you would enter the information where it says in Section I, did you make any payments in 2023 that would require you to file Forms 1099? Of course, you would say yes. Whatever is in box 1, you've transferred over to the trust. And then in box J, if yes, did you or will you file required Forms 1099? And I will show you how to do that online, electronically, which will come back to you approved by the IRS within 24 to 48 hours. That's the first step you do. Then you come to all of these different tax forms. We'll get more into that inside the webinar. Now, remember, they talked about when it comes to that statutory employee, they mentioned common law rules. If workers are independent contractors under the common law rules, that's very important because you know what is common law? Common law is your Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Trust, depending on your state. Now, what's funny is the IRS likes to, they're hearing what we're talking about here. They know what we're talking about online via YouTube, TikTok, guys like me, Santos Bonacci, Jonah Bay, other guys like that from overseas. And they're trying to put out blogs such as this, abusive trust tax evasion schemes to get you to stray away from the truth. But indeed, they gave you the truth in their own writings. Common law trust, what does it say? It says, contrary to the claims of promoters, common law trust no longer exist since all states now have statutes relating to the creation and operation of trust. But over here, they've just said, if workers are independent contractors under the common law rules, such workers may nevertheless be treated as employees by statute. So which is it, Mr. IRS Commissioner? What are you saying here? They're giving you your out from the very beginning. You have to see that and you have to call them out on it. And this is what you will call them out on. I'm sorry. And this is what you would speak on when it comes to your correspondences after you file. Okay. So I just wanted to share that little bit with you before we get into our questions and before we release the information on filing your taxes, whether you're a W-2, quote unquote employee, you're really an independent contractor under common law, under your state constitution. All right. So that's going to be fun to go over. Now, if anyone has questions pertaining to what we just talked about, we'll spend about 10 minutes there, and then we'll get into questions that you may have in regards to the course. You may raise your hand at this point. Going to Mr. Hammam. T. Hammam, you are unmuted. How you doing?
How you doing, Avery? Thanks for taking my question. Mine actually is specifically to what you just talked about. I did submit my W-8BEN along with the voluntary withholding statement and filed the W-4 for California exempt as well as the federal exempt. And my employer has agreed they're not taking federal and state income tax out of my check. But they claim that in California, it's a legal requirement for them to continue to take Social Security, Medicare, and disability out. Is that money that can be recouped at a later date with what you're teaching, or am I just out that money?
No, it will be recouped. This is where your trust will file the 1041 in association with Form 843. That's how you're going to recoup it. Okay. Now, I have told everybody you have your 9(8) Express Trust, which can't open a bank account. So, therefore, you would have your trust enterprise as a U.S. fiduciary. Yourself can be listed as a trustee using your social security number to open up the account. Of course, under the rules of TEFRA and 8832, you protect those monies. However, the trust enterprise has a different name than the actual express trust. So imagine a situation where they refund you the money, but it doesn't come to you. It doesn't come to your enterprise name. It comes to the name of the foreign express trust, which has no bank account. So I'll tell you here and now what you do is you go online and you get another EIN that's in the same name as the trust enterprise. I'm sorry, the foreign express trust. It's going to give you a different EIN number. You will go ahead and open up that bank account. Now you can deposit the treasury check that comes in the name of the foreign express trust into that trust that you just opened. Okay. That's how you get the money out. And then once it's there, you will direct it over to the enterprise for safekeeping. Okay. So, but yes, you can get that money back using 843. Good question. Very good question. Lisa, do you have any questions pertaining to the information that we just discussed?
No, it's about the course, so I'll wait till everybody else is done. And can you come
Okay.
back to me?
Yeah, I'll leave your hand up and come back to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lee, you are unmuted.
Hello, good day, sir. Thank you for taking my question.
Of course.
My question is specifically related to owning my own business. Do you have trained and qualified tax accountants or bookkeepers that you can recommend for us to help us file these forms at the end of the year?
Very good question. And we've been trying to find qualified individuals to do it. However, their license is too precious to them to risk it. So this mostly is teaching for you, the individual, to learn it and do it yourself. I would imagine after you've done it for yourself for a few years, you can take what you've done and present that to any CPA that you would like to use, and they would probably be more comfortable taking it on from there.
If you know Jess from Texas, she does have her tax accountant who is taking your course and is willing to learn this process. Just as an aside, if you're interested, I can certainly let Jess know if you want to get in contact or them get in contact with you.
Sure. Yes, please let her know.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you, Lee. Going to Maya. Maya, right? You are unmuted. Just simply unmute your mic.
Hi, Avery.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you.
So I tried to, hard to hear, but my my office has it where like we have to fill out the W-4 online. Like we can't send it in, but the way that it doesn't allow me to fill it out the way I would like. So I was wondering, what can I do to mail it in and get it processed if I'm unable to get the mailing address? They won't share it with me either. They said it's for inactive employees.
Okay. What really matters is Section 4C. If you're able to type in the actual word exempt, then you should be okay. But if you can't do that, what I would recommend is you can try to mail it in, hard copy, and move from there. But if that doesn't work, then just do it as normal. Try to reduce as much withholdings as you can. Whatever they do take out, you will come into the tax webinars coming soon and go ahead and fill out the information so that we can get the money back. And we had some bad signal with your on your end, so I don't know if you're speaking now as a response. But yeah, I see you in the chat. No worries. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go to Joshua. How you doing, Joshua?
Hey, good, Avery. My questions pertain to the course, so I'm willing to wait.
Gotcha, no problem. I'll leave your hand up.
Thank you.
Anyone who have questions pertaining to the actual course, do me a favor, reduce the hand so I can see what we have for what we just talked about. Just go ahead and take your hand down for a second. Okay, we're going to Estrada Vega Capital.
Hey, how you doing, Avery? Nice to meet you. First of all, my name is Carlos, so that's the company, but not nice to meet you. Hey, I got a question. Recently retired from the military, so I'm disabled, about 90% disabled, and obviously I'm getting disability, getting a retirement. I wanted to ask you is because I haven't heard anything. I always hear about, having a business or you're a W-2 employee. What can I submit in order so to withhold all these taxes that I see my retirement pay going in and I almost get like 60% of it every month. So what is your advice on that?
Yeah, you're going to have to submit to whoever is the withholder. You have to give them the W-8 bin E form. So your name goes on there, your Foreign Express Trust name goes on there, as well as your trust enterprise. There's a video
Got it.
course that talks about that and shows you how to do it.
Got it. And that's where I'm actually right now. So what one of my holdbacks on this is that I know that, and I spoke to a lot of people in the chats, but I also listened to some of the videos in which I was born in Venezuela. I'm naturalized when I turned 18. I'm 41 now. And I've been trying to get a authenticated birth certificate. You know what's going on in Venezuela. All consulates are closed down in the United States. And I'm actually looking to see if I have some connections over there. And I'm telling you, man, they are so crooked over there. They won't give me an authenticating. If I want to get an Apostille one, I got to go over there. They charge me almost $1,000 just to get something like that. Wow. So what are my options? Because I did hear you actually spoke to a Marine in one of the videos, and you told them that they needed to get an authenticated one. They needed to go ahead and post it on the local newspaper for 2 weeks, and then take that affidavit and then go ahead and file it with a local county court clerk.
Correct.
I don't have that. What are my options?
Okay. If you can't get it, it's not like it's the end of the world, because you're here in the States and you do have some type of document connecting you to the States, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm naturalized.
Yeah. So your certificate of naturalization, you can authenticate that if you would like, but in its current form, it's good as is. Just go ahead and put that affidavit on there.
Okay.
And proceed with getting that inside of your Express Trust. Maybe sometime in the future, you may be able to go back and get a physical copy of the Venezuelan birth certificate, or things may change where you can get it in the future.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, so that's fine. I got another question, but it's still in regards to the course. So whenever we go back to this, okay? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Carlos.
Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, we're going to let's go to Daniel Deal.
Hello, Avery. I have two questions. The first one is short and sweet, and the next one is a little more in depth about tax. The first question is, can a trust be a sole trustee for another trust?
Yes, it can.
All right, that's music to my ears. Secondly, I haven't been able to sleep at night with this question. I've done everything in the TZP platform. You could call me a graduate. With all the work that I've done on my journey and everything I've completed and processed, to be quote unquote private, if we are truly private, sovereign individuals with heartbeats, why is it necessary for us to continue to file paperwork with the IRS if we're truly private? Help
Mhm.
me understand that.
You were truly private the minute that you were born. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And if our parents knew exactly what they were getting themselves into, I don't think they would have done what they've done.
Correct.
So the thing is, now that you are fully aware of what you're doing and you have taken yourself out of it back into the state of which you were born in that very minute, the IRS does not know if any given situation has come up where you have to go back and actually use the benefits and privileges of the United States. So you have to show them that you are staying away from what we call old age insurance, the Social Security number. A lot of people want to do that, but are not in the position to do that. For
Would
example,
that affect my ability to process Treasury gift checks based upon my old age insurance account? Because I literally just processed a little over $10 million in Treasury checks.
right? And it's up to them to take it if they want it, if they need it. It's not going to be automatic every time, but we keep on submitting them until it takes place. And you're doing that to reduce the public debt, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's the only way to do it.
yeah, it's the only way to do it. So every year you have to let them know I have done nothing, and I'm currently not using the benefits of old age insurance.
So basically, the gist of it is every year we just stiff arm them and remind them that, hey, I'm not the one.
Correct. And we do that by the transfer of liability with these tax forms
Gotcha.
because you're getting monies back. Now, you know how they say with the taxes, what is it, 3 years you can't go back and redo anything, or 7 years or whatever. That's from a Social Security standpoint, and that is from a business EIN standpoint. But when the trust is involved, it goes all the way back. This is why I'm telling you guys this here and now. Go and order your transcripts from day one since you paid taxes within this system. Go and get your transcripts. When you first was 18 years old and you paid your first taxes working at Walmart or wherever, go get it, because that's going to be used for the trust to go back and get the money.
What's the process for that?
It's just a tax filing process, like I mentioned, with the 843 form and the 1041s. Got to go back and get it. And you're going to need your tax injunction. Has to be served. Has to be.
So what would the consequences be if, say, hypothetically, I just went absolutely radio silent from here on out for the rest of my natural life with the IRS?
Nothing. You're not required to file. That's the first thing that you've gathered from getting that 98 number. If you file, you're just telling them the only reason why I'm filing is because I want something back in return from what I was paying throughout the year.
Gotcha.
You don't have to file. You don't have to get a refund if you don't want it.
No, I'm going to get back every penny. That's my plan.
My man. Exactly. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Very good questions. I appreciate you, Daniel. Thank you.
Thanks.
Paul Phillips, you are unmuted.
Hi, Avery. Regarding the 1099 information, that's what you're on right now. My employer, basically, I work as a contractor, as a real estate agent, and I'm also have a notary business now. And my employer, the people that I work for, subcontract for, will not write the check to my trust. my Express Trust enterprise. And they say they have checked with their accountant and they just can't do it unless I become a real estate broker. And I kind of think they're in error on that, but I'm going along with it. And I remember in one of your talks that you were saying that anything that is paid to you under a social security number, after you pass, they will come back and tax you on that, even if it's put into the trust. Is that a correct statement?
Correct statement. That's what they call probating the estate for 7 years after we become deceased on the death certificate. So I've heard of this, what you're talking about when it comes to real estate agents. You have to be a broker in order to give a trust. Not true, because let's just go along with it, because that's what you're doing. You know, you're just trying to take the path of least resistance. I'm sure you've given them a W-9 with your name on it, or your LLC or corporation's name on it. Doesn't matter. You can still be paid in that fashion and then transfer that money over into your trust enterprise bank account, as long as you take your estate number, if you're being paid in your name, or you take your LLC, if you're being paid in the LLC, or the corporation, if you're being paid in the corporation, and do the reclassification process, you are perfectly fine. It is the same thing. It's something that the employers don't know that you know.
Yeah, and I noticed someone made a comment in the chat that the DBA should solve that problem. It is on my DBA, but now are you saying to reclassify my name under an 8832?
And the way you do that is by the estate. So
Right.
yeah, you get your estate number online, it spits out an EIN number, and then you fill out the 8832. You put that estate name and EIN at the top of the form. And on the second page, I'm sorry, at the bottom of the first page, you put the name of the Express Trust and its 98 number. Send it into the mail and let it take about 60 days to come back. Approved.
Well, so I've already got my trust enterprise approved under the 8832. So that's all done. Do I need another? Are you saying another one?
Yes, the estate. You'll see
Okay.
the freshman and sophomore classes.
Yeah, and I also, as far as the estate is concerned, they sent me a notice back and said that I could not reclassify my estate. And so I sent another 8832 in to try to get it done again. But the first letter I got back said they won't do that under the estate, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think everybody gets a first rejection, and they maybe 2 rejections, and they get it the 3rd time around. But you know, you've seen mine in the webinar, and you've seen that I got the approval, and there's others in the chat that say that they got it. So just stick with it; it'll come.
And so that would negate me having to have them write the check directly to the trust, as I wouldn't have to worry about chasing that rabbit.
Exactly.
Okay, great. I have some other questions later, but I'll raise my hand later. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Going to Nikki. How are you?
You got it right. I'm so excited.
Remember this time, 3 times a
Yay.
charm, right?
Thank you. So this is kind of random and I apologize, it's not tax related.
Well, guys, I
I have,
think we're past the tax section. So everybody who has questions pertaining to the course, raise your hand.
okay. My question is in regards, I have, basically she's my sister. It's my husband's sister. She's going to be getting married, and the man she is marrying is not a air quote citizen. He is from another country. He was brought here as a baby for medical care, and he's interested in this process. But with them getting married, obviously, I know if I were to get married, like if my husband and I were to do it again, we wouldn't get a marriage certificate. We would do it a whole different way to not contract. In their case, would it be why? Because he's not naturalized, and he wants to obviously stay here with his soon-to-be wife. What would be the process for them that would be wise? Would they get married go through a naturalization process, then do
Mm.
this process and break the contracts later?
That's the best way.
Okay,
Yep. Let him get his citizenship through the wife and marriage.
okay,
And then they will go ahead and sever that. It's most likely, I don't know if their state will allow the annulment. There's a couple reasons why you can do it. But if not, then a just straight divorce will be fine. But I recommend before doing the blah blah blah, before doing the divorce, do the marriage covenant trust together. So that way they have something binding together, and then they can go together and do the divorce. There's no petitions for spousal support or anything like that. They both agree to just sever it for what is that? Differences of the mind.
okay,
That'll be it. And then from there, he can be here legally and do the process that she would do.
okay. And he does have a daughter. She was born here. So would he want to claim her estate and go through that process for her after he's been naturalized in those steps? Or is that something that he could do
Well,
beforehand?
yeah, he could do that beforehand. I mean, he could put his trust together, get that all established, and authenticate his daughter's birth certificate, put the lease agreement on it, and add that as a UCC3 to his trust. And he would do that every
Okay.
7 years until she's 18 or 21.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good question. Going to Craig Daniel.
Okay, thank you. I'm getting ready to record my foreign trust declaration of trust. And my question is regarding a successor trustee versus the beneficiary. So right now, my trust is my beneficiary. But if something happens to me, is it better to add a successor trustee or an individual as a beneficiary on the foreign trust?
What's best is go ahead and create your U.S. fiduciary, which is your trust enterprise. Connect that together. Now, with that, you are going to be the trustee of it, and then add a successor trustee in case something were to happen to you. What you're going to do for that successor trustee, you're going to find someone or a company that will do all of the duties that you want to happen, when you leave this world behind. And they're going to carry out every single thing that you want to happen to further pursue any interest that you have for your beloved ones. So it's best to have a successor trustee who has no ties to you or your family. They're just going to be hired contractors. I recommend a trust company, such as a bank. I use Northern Trust. They're really good. In case something happens to me, they have orders as to how I want my trust and life insurance policies to be carried out. And to ensure that they do that, they're going to take a portion of that life insurance payout and they are going to invest it in whatever they think is necessary. And that's how they get their fee. Now, Northern Trust and companies like that are going to continue on for years and years and years and years, despite if something were to happen to somebody in my family that I put as a successor trustee. That no one's promised tomorrow, but with a company, there's always going to be managers in there to keep their accounts going.
So yeah, I have a Northern Trust here. So do I have to identify the successor trustee in a paragraph in the declaration or name them?
Yeah, you name them inside of your minutes.
Okay, in the minutes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And it doesn't have to be Northern Trust, just someone like it, company like that.
Right. Okay, so just minutes to name that. Okay.
Yep. And so if they ask you, well, who are the beneficiaries that we are serving? How I teach it, in your Foreign Express Trust, you have the trust itself as the beneficiary. And then in your trust enterprise, it's the same thing. However, in the trust enterprise beneficiary section, I put and holders of trust certificate units. So on the actual trust certificate units, I actually make a certificate. And if my son, who has a birth certificate, son number 1, the name that is on birth certificate number, shall be the holder of 14% in this policy or whatever. They present that to Northern Trust, and there's the proof that they are a beneficiary without me listing their name in a public document. If that makes sense. Okay. So now let's go to Lisa.
Yeah.
Hi there.
So I was a good girl and did all my hard work for a year, partly in, I guess, 22 and 23. Did the whole course, got my trust, got the enterprise, opened the account, got the ABC, and then I sort of slowed down and didn't do anything after that.
It is muted. Hear them.
Excuse me? Oh, and so anyway, just wanted to know what you recommend to pick things back up and where I should go next and how to move things over and start actually using it. And I want to build credit so I can, you know, get a house and whatever.
Okay. Let's kind of do a little review of where you left off and what you want to do. So do you have a life insurance policy?
No.
Okay. I would start there. It's a good way to fund the trust and any businesses that you want to carry out for the next generations, or if you want to build like a real estate empire, a life insurance policy is a good way to do that. You interested in real estate? Do you have real estate?
You know, I was an agent for 4 years and I was flipping and an investor. I have 3 properties, but I'm not really doing much with real estate right now. But how would the life insurance policy, because I don't have any family really to leave anything to. I just have some organizations that are, you know, my trust or my beneficiaries that I like to donate to and stuff like that. But yeah, what do you recommend?
Okay. Well, if you're really close with those organizations, then that is the family that you would leave everything to if you trust them to have it. And if they agree to carry out the finances of, it could be charity, it could be a foundational effort, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Also got a family here, TZP.
No, thank you. Okay.
I would say start there and now start the process of the name change to your title nobility. Get the court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, get your court order. Do that because in addition to your 3-star or 4-star vessel passport in your birth name, I also want you to get a passport card and book in your title nobility name. You guys are going to have two sets of passports. Okay. So please, if you can do that, that's going to be about another 4 or 5 months, depending on how fast they can get that to you and how fast you get that court order. So I would say start there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I do have a 4-star, just as a national and whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I do have a 4-star, but I don't have it in my nobility name. So that's good to know. And yeah, I'll start there. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
Carrie, how are you? You are unmuted.
Hi, Avery.
Hey there.
Thank you for taking my question. Okay, so this is regarding a lawsuit that I lost to American Express. There was 2 of them, and I didn't utilize anything that, you know, with the Express Trust just because of lack of knowledge. And everything that I have is, aside from the Express Trust, is in a domestic trust. They all have their separate EINs, including my cars and everything. And so when I lost that, they immediately filed a lien. It's not perfected. I'm in Florida. It's not perfected, but they immediately filed a lien against the trusts. Well, anything and everything that I own, apparently, according to my title guy. And he said that they filed it against all of my trusts, even though they have separate EIN numbers. And so I was just curious what my remedy could be.
Mm-hmm. On those domestic trusts, are they irrevocable or revocable?
They're revocable.
Okay, that's why they did it.
Okay.
Of course, just didn't know that information. That's okay. Since they are revocable, you could change it to irrevocable and then reclassify them under the main 9(8) Express Trust, and then move forward with an accord and satisfaction on the amount that they placed a lien on.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you've seen inside of the course in the section where we're talking about the just go in the search bar and type bona fide dispute and accord and satisfaction in the search bar at the top, and you'll see the videos pertaining to that to kind of give you an understanding what that process looks like. I know they may have said, okay, out of all these 3 cars or properties that you have, let's say $50,000 is owed, and your payment is going to be $700. Okay, fine, but I'm going to send you a bona fide dispute first, and I'm also going to send you a check for $25. And if you cash it and apply it to the account, it is done. So that's in a nutshell how that works. You may have to do 2 or 3 payments, but I will show you how to enforce that.
Okay. Is there any way that perhaps I can set up an appointment with you to do that? Or you suggest I do it on my own?
No, you definitely can set up an appointment. The link in the website where we're I'm drawing a blank here. The consultation link in the website, please just put in there specifically what we just talked about today.
Okay.
And my assistant will schedule it for me.
Your lovely assistant. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Going to Joseph.
Hello, Avery. How are you?
My voice is getting a little hoarse, but I think I can make it. You do.
All's well. I was just talking with Frenchie in the chat regarding accord and satisfaction, kind of ties into what you were just saying. So they deposited the first check that I sent with the language on the memo and on the back. It was 10 days after I had sent the dispute letter. Is that enough time? I know the UCC just says reasonable amount of time.
That is enough time. Now, what is this? A credit card, auto, or home?
Auto
Sorry?
auto loan.
Okay. All right. So now this is what we're going to do. We are going to get funky with it. Everybody pay attention. I'm going to share my screen and go through the next step. Anytime they take your payment, and I don't care if it's the IRS, go to Google, type in Maryland, eGov, Maryland, UCC, file search. It should be this one right here that says Uniform Commercial Code. Look at that. Always happens when you want to show somebody something. Let me try Safari. Okay, so then we want to go to filing number or name search. You're going to hit secure party, type in the name. United States Treasury. 1789. Let's see if that pulls up anything. Bear with me. Right? No parties. Look at this. Why they do this to me? Let me try a different method. I will have to make a quick little webinar after this call to show you what to do. But let me tell you what it is. I'm going to get the filing number of that agriculture lien that I've showed you all. You type it here, and then the lien is going to show up. From there, you're going to go ahead and process a UCC3 termination. And you're going to fill out your information as far as acknowledgement. Do not hit this button here, included on original filing, because that's going to put your email address out there to the world. You don't want that. So leave that blank there. Put your iPostal address, hit continue, and then from there, you're going to enter in the debtor, which is the auto loan, the lender, and the secure party is going to be your trust. You're going to terminate the lien that is against the lender, including your name as an additional debtor. And in the collateral section, you would put in the check information number. Now, I hope that you've scanned the front and the back for your records, and you will also upload it into the system. If you do this between Monday and Friday during the hours, then you will get this done immediately, and you'll be able to get a copy of it. Take that copy and you send it to the actual lender with a UCC 9-210 letter. That's a statement of accounting. And that's your request for the amount is zero. You need them to state that it's zero. If they respond saying that you still have a debt, then you will go ahead and sue. And that's where you get the bill of complaint information in the website. You will sue them for exactly double the amount of the loan. So you're requesting a full discharge because it's already discharged. They accepted it. And you're getting a double portion of the loan. That's how you tap into your CAFR account that they've tapped into. Okay. So for some reason, I can't pull it up. It's not doing all that right here, right now. After this call, I'll make a quick little walkthrough on that. And I want you to come back into the site and look at that so you know what to do. All right. So let's go to Mike B. You are unmuted.
Hey there, Avery. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I actually have a tax question. So I've been waiting for that too. So thank you so much. So with my tax situation, I'm a W-2 employee. I've been filing exempt since mid-2022. And so last year I filed, I used the IRS code that allows that 50% contribution to a private non-508 charitable religious organization. And so I want to figure out if I could amend that on this year's return using this process. But then also it kind of goes with it. So this year I received a form 1099 INT from the IRS that said it, and it was paying me back that interest paid or credited. So like, is that an indication that what we're doing is working?
It is. It's a dividend.
How do I find out if that was credited? Because it has a note and it said it may have been paid to you with your past tax refund, or it could be applied to a future tax. Like, how do I figure that out?
What they're really saying is the amount that they're crediting is going to be considered a carry forward on next year's taxes. So you can use it to reduce your amount of taxation. However, if you were to just reclassify these entities over to the trust and have the trust file, then that carry forward cannot be paid or it cannot be added to another tax year because the trust is tax exempt already. It's already zero. So you
Right.
have to get that money back from the 843 form.
Okay. And so would that be similar going back? I mean, since it was last year, like, is there a simple way to do that to amend last year's return
Mhm.
with this year?
You could amend it. Which form did you use to file it in the first place? You know?
I used a 1040 last year. I haven't gotten into the 1041s or anything like that yet.
Okay. So we're going to have to use a 1040X to amend it and just move forward with all the schedules to transfer that liability over to the trust with 1099, and you're good to go.
Okay. Awesome. All right. I actually have a court question too, and I can go towards the end if we have time to get to it, but it's a good one for you as well.
Oh, yes. Let's get into it now. Let's do it. Go ahead.
Okay, let's do it. All right. So I'll give you a little bit of background on the court case, right? So essentially I was pulled over. I had some wave runners and passed the port of entry checkpoint. The Division of Wildlife Services pulled me over, gave me a ticket. And so I've been fighting that. So I'm now on like 3 pretrial conferences. My last one, I just read through the request for declaratory judgment to the judge and prosecutor. The judge denied my request as well as denied the motion to dismiss, but basically gave me an option. So this is a justice court, which is the lowest court. It's a statutory court in Utah. Next step up for appeal would be to the district court, right? And then above that is the appellate courts. So the judge gave me the option. He says, you can appeal my decision, which was his decision to deny the dismissal. You can appeal that to the district court, which would make your case de novo, which means I would have to start all the way over and kind of redefend myself from the beginning. He said, and then he said, or you can come back to court. He set a date for April 30th as like the pre-trial conference final, right? Before we would go into any actual trial or anything like that. He said, but so if you don't appeal, you'd come back here April 30th, and then you would we reach a final judgment going into the trial. And so kind of how I'm thinking about it is I'm already going to have the opportunity to appeal. Like, why would I appeal right now? It seems like he's pushing that case along because he did mention something about not having the jurisdiction because I've used the trust obviously to defend as well as the Constitution. So I think he could be pushing it, but then also I definitely wanted your perspective on best case for me.
Yes. A lot of times, the first initial court that we come into is not our equity court. And we don't know. The only way you would know is when you first start at the first level. And the judges are not going to particularly tell you, oh, you need to go to this county and this district to handle this case. So the only way you're going to find out where that is through the appeal process. That's where you need to go. The appeal process is simply redoing everything, but you're going to come from the basis that here is document evidence that the trust is doing business as the name that the state is coming after. That's going to allow the clerk of court in that appeals court jurisdiction to make sure you go into a court of equity. And that's really the leg that you want to stand on, is that you're not just dealing with one person here who has nothing protecting it. That's what the lowercase judge is talking about. Now, you may have told the judge, may have mentioned your express trust in some way. And
Absolutely. I also filed the trust with the court. Filed quite a few documents with the court.
yeah, so he's telling you, I have no jurisdiction here with what you've put in my position. So You need to go to appeals court. We have a few students that had to do that, and they were successful. Go into appeals court, and this time list everything and say, look, this judge was moving forward with being partial. And basically,
Right.
he excused himself from the bench. He's telling you, I can't move forward here in equity. Now, the appeals court will probably have at least more than one judge on the case. And if it is, maybe it's three, and that's what you call a tribunal. And that's where you want to be.
Okay. So the appeals court would actually be after the district court. So I could see, I mean, there's a presiding judge in this district, but should I make the judge make judgment before appealing, or should I take his offer to appeal his decision to deny the dismissal and take it now to the district court?
Yes.
I should do that.
Deny his most recent ruling and move forward with the appeal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Go straight into
Okay.
it.
That's what I'll do. Go straight into it.
Mhm.
And then is there a way that I can request the presiding judge in that district? Because she actually, I mean, I've copied her as the Lord Chancellor on like my motion for discovery to compel and to dismiss. I've never heard from her.
Mhm. No, you don't need to do that. Not at all.
Okay.
What matters is the clerk of court and the new assigned judge in the appeals court. They will be able to see everything that's happened in the lower courts. And, you know, when you win, they're going to give the lower courts a good spanking in the background.
All right. Well, tell me why, like, why wouldn't I want that? Why wouldn't I want to force that judge to make a judgment, the justice court judge? Because he essentially can. So wouldn't that just end it right there?
No, he's bonded. He's bonded at a certain level where he can't go past. He's only there for civil matters. They are the gatekeepers and the guardians for the true equity courts.
So if I did this, if I decided to take him to judgment, like what would happen?
He's just going to stick to plausible deniability.
Okay, that's what he's been doing to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. That's what I'll do. Thank you.
Yeah. Best thing to do. Good question.
I love it. And thank you for the tax stuff too. That's awesome. When are you going to release that webinar that's associated with it?
I think when my team is, when I feel that they're real comfortable with the situations I give them, because everybody here has different situations. But I think they're around the corner with it. I want to say the end of April. I noticed that the deadlines, of course, which doesn't apply here, April 15th, but it's really been extended to like October. So everybody should be in good hands by the end of April.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to Marvell with the Hulk icon. How you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, Avery? How you doing, man?
Great. Thank you.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I can get my birth certificate authenticated. Can a certified copy be good, or do I need a long form to certify to authenticate on all levels?
Is your certified copy 8x11?
Yes, but it doesn't have any numbers on it. All I have on it is a booking number and a page number.
Booking number and a page number from the county. So no birth certificate number, huh?
No. And I called Vital Records, and they were like, they don't put it on there from Vital Check for some reason. I don't know. And it would take 5 months to get. I didn't know whether I could just go ahead and get authenticated with just a certified copy.
Go into the county website and order it from them. Get it from the birth certificate section instead of Vital Statistics. Vital Statistics is a third party. I've actually authenticated a birth certificate from North Carolina, and It looks like a dollar bill. So you definitely don't have the right one. I want you to go straight to your birth certificate county and get it from them.
So birth certificate, and I think I called them and they gave me a number straight to Vital Records though. That's what I was pulling off at. They gave me a number straight to them. I called them the Vital Records is in Greensboro. Like I have a certificate of live birth, and I have this is my wife's. I have a certificate of live birth with the county register of deeds office, and all I have is a book and a page, and that's it. It has the seals on it, but it's like a copy.
Yeah.
So you said I don't, and it's gonna take 5 months to do that. And I didn't want to start the authentication process and not have the right stuff.
Do me a favor. Are you able to take a quick little picture and send it to me directly in the chat, directly to me?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, let me see it.
You want to just go ahead? I just send you the picture and you come back to me?
Yeah. When I get it, I'll answer it.
All right, cool. Thanks.
All right. All right, going to Samuelson.
Hello, Avery. How are you today?
I am doing well, doing very good. Hope you are.
Good. I am. I'm glad you could hear me. In the last month, I've finally got that Trust Enterprise bank account open. 7th or 8th time a charm, but I'll take it. And it stayed open, over a few weeks. So I'm starting to believe that it's going to be okay. I'm in the process of linking, making a fiduciary crypto exchange account. They want the W8 Ben E. So very fortunate for you to have just gone over that. Had a couple questions about that. So you showed a land trust in your example. Can I use the express trust in box 1?
Yes, you can.
All right. I thought so. I just wanted to hear it from you. And now they're asking for information about the beneficial owner. I'm did all the stuff similar to, given the social and everything like that, similar to how I got the bank account, but they did want to know who the beneficial owner was. And so I was transparent and, they want the passport photo. They want the formation document, which I believe is the certificate of trust for the trust enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
But on the W8 Ben E, if box 1 is, hold on a second, let me get back on track because I was just looking at something. So they want to know about, if I'm the passive trustee, I want to prove that. Am I going to show them a minute from the express trust as the passive trustee agreement, the plenipotentiary agent contract?
If you put the Foreign Express Trust in the first box,
yeah,
we're claiming that the Foreign Express Trust is the beneficial owner. And the only reason why they're asking for this information is because of that new law that came out this year. The B, beneficial ownership information that applies to corporations. That's what this is all about. Yeah, the BOI Act. So you're going to need to put your foreign trustees information as the owner, and that requires sometimes their passport, front and back. They're going to sign and the foreign address. Now, when they pay monies out, this is where I believe right below that at the top where you're going to put that trust enterprise information. And that's where you want them to make payments to enterprise. That way you can cash it. But overall, that foreign trustee is going to help you.
Right. And I'm clear on the rest. I think, country of incorporation or origin is Sultanate of Oman, just like you taught last week. So a lot of that is clear. So I'm going to send it in and see how it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
But
yeah,
proving myself as a passive trustee, would I use the plenipotentiary agent contract?
Of course.
That's it, right?
That is it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. And if for whatever reason, any court, bank, or withholding agent needs proof that beyond the Foreign Express Trust, that the trustee is a part of the trust by contract, guess what you give them? You hold harmless agreement. Right? So let's go to Lewis. You are unmuted.
Shabbat shalom, Avery.
Thank you. Thank you. And yourself?
Doing well here. I have a quick question. I'm a private client, started in October 9th. My question's about tax return. I'm still going through the process. I haven't filed the W-9 yet with my job. So I'm just wondering, do I just file regularly this year just to get that over, or how do I proceed?
If you absolutely need to file because you need, you're trying to get financing for whatever reason, then yeah, just file as normal. If you owe and you pay a little bit out of your own pocket, I'm telling you, you'll be able to go back and get it. But if you don't have to, nothing is pushing you to file right now, then you can wait a little bit.
Okay.
Worst
Well,
case scenario, file no later than October of this year.
right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna file. I always get money back. So and that'll kind of help me out to pay for other things along the way. So that's my question. I do have others, but I'm gonna get back in line. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Going to Flex. How you doing?
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes, I hear you.
hey, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. Can't complain.
That's what's up, man. So my question was, I had a violation of my injunction, and right now I'm in Georgia, in Fulton County. Their systems got hacked recently, and I believe that has my do not detain status apparently not showing up as I believe it has been before. Since filing it, I've got stopped several times, and they had officers literally apologize and all kind of stuff. But recently, since the system's been hacked, I got pulled over twice, and one of them I did get cited for driving out of license and speeding or whatever. And I already did I had some notes that I had from the old traffic thing that you had in the earlier versions of the course, like way back when, Patreon days. So I went ahead and did that, but I was curious to know, am I able to do like a bill of complaint or something for the actual violation of the injunction, since it is actually violated?
Yes, you can. I would also take it to the next step. Authenticate your injunction on every level of government. And when they pull you over, regardless of it not showing up in their system or not because of hacks, when they ask for the license, give them the authenticated injunction with the license. And they ask you what this is, you say court order injunction.
Authenticate the injunction. And a bill of complaint would be the best way to go about starting an actual suit.
Well, yeah, if you want to take it to that level, yeah, if you want to sue, bill of complaint first. Well, first do this. They violated your injunction. Send them a notice that don't do it again, blah, blah, blah. 30 days later, because they don't respond, then you file the bill of complaint.
And I just send that do I send it to the superior court or to the actual agents that violated it, or to the sheriff?
Well, you have to file it with the clerk of court, the same way you know how to file any complaint with the court, but CC everybody else who's going to be attached. So who are you suing exactly? You're suing the state of Georgia.
Gotcha.
So that means every constitutional officer that's involved.
Okay. So authenticated birth certificate, that sounds pretty deep. And I guess
authenticate your injunction. Let's say you got it right now. What you're going to do, first step, put it in the paper. Somebody who is going to circulate that in the paper will get it notarized for you. Then you go to your Secretary of State and ask the Secretary to authenticate or exemplify the validity of that notary public. You'll get a seal for that. Then you have to take it from there and go to the Secretary of State and get that authenticate it for a foreign country, the non-Hague country. He'll seal it up, and you send that to the U.S. Department of State. You seal it up there, and now you got it with you in your trunk, in your glove box. When they see that seal on there, they read it. You've seen all over YouTube and TikTok where you got sovereign citizens giving them paperwork, but they don't have the proper seals on it, and they don't listen to it. So
they can't breach the seal.
Yeah, they cannot. Seals are. If you guys ever seen that movie, Dune Part 2 just came out, but in Dune Part 1, in the beginning, the Imperial had to sign the treaty. He took some wax, took his ring, and he sealed it.
Mm-hmm.
Represented his house. It wasn't about him, it was about the house. So in this case, it is about the house, which is your trust, being recognized by the House of California and the House of the Department of State. So they listen to that.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. And I real quick before I get off, I heard you talking about the passport IDs and the stars and everything. Is there any relevance in the number of stars that you have in your card that you know of?
Yeah, if you're above 6, you're in deep trouble. You know, I just want to just do that thing all over again. You're a complete servitude or indentured servitude, but 5 or less is what you want to show some recognition that you're not a complete what's that word? In the feudal law system, there's capitis, diminishua, maxima, and there's minima, medium. That's what that pertains to. If you get the law library book, Black's Law, and you look at capitis, diminutia, maxima, anything above 5 pertains to that. So it doesn't matter what you file, they're not listening to you. But if you have stars less than 5, then you got a leg up. You can stand on yourself. You can talk for yourself.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I got 5.
Yeah, I got 3. I've seen some have 2, But move forward with the title of nobility, passport, and then also get your foreign driver's license from Panama. You can get that with the IDP.
I do have a foreign one, but I was told not to use it when I'm driving my own cars. I use it when I drive like my rental cars.
Correct. Yeah. Rental cars or cars that you have in trust, and that'll work. Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it, Avery.
All right. You're welcome. Yeah, I can't stress it enough. That's why I was in regards to driving, I said, look, it would not make any sense if you give a foreign ID with an IDP in your title nobility name, and then they see the registration in your birth name. Now you're going to get charged for false identification. And some people have done that. They didn't quite think it through. So please don't do that. Okay, let's go to Barry. Barry Tallis, how you doing?
Doing great, thank you. Just a really quick question. I recall seeing somewhere, and I don't know where, but there was a combined state and tax injunction template. Is there new information on that, or do I do a state injunction and tax injunction separately?
You file it separately. It has nothing to do with putting that with your trust filings. You just file it separately, send it out to those 4 or 5 public officials.
Okay, and so is there a combined template for the state and tax, or 2 separate templates, one for the state injunction and one for the tax injunction?
It's separate. It's separate.
Okay.
On the tax one, I didn't provide a template for that. I just spoke about what needs to go in it because I want everyone's tax injunction to be a little bit different than the next person.
Right.
That way they see, oh, the people are really understanding this. It's not just something that you find off of script.com, which they pretty much put out there themselves.
Right.
So I didn't want to have a template for that.
Makes sense. All right, thank you much.
You're welcome. Let's go to Vinto. Vinto.
Greetings, Avery. How are you?
Good, sir. Thank you.
Well, much like to the TZP family, I just chimed in because I heard you talking about the birth certificates and the authentication and whatnot. My particular position, I have a consular report of birth abroad, the CRBA. And I got a response back. They sent me my certificate back and whatnot. They told me that, obviously I chose Taiwan as directed. They told me that my certificate doesn't need to be authenticated for a Taiwan use. It's already good to go. So I was kind of hoping to get that, that number at the top with the statement, on that seal. What do you think? What do you think I should do going forward to get that seal, or do I need it? That number, obviously.
What country were you born in?
The Philippines.
Okay. Yeah, that's why. So just take it straight to the U.S. Department of State and get it authenticated for Taiwan.
Straight to the Department of State. Okay.
Using Form DS 4194.
So, not to cut you off, but I sent it with that. So the DS 4194, I sent my certificate, picked Taiwan, filled it out as directed, picked the country for use, Taiwan, and they sent me it back and saying that I don't that it's already good to go for Taiwan.
I got you. I
yeah,
thought
I'm sorry.
you were sending it directly to the Secretary of State. Okay.
No.
I
used the DS 4194.
Okay. Yeah, just like a naturalized certificate for someone who was born in another country and they become naturalized. Like I've said before, they don't have to go to the Department of State. It's already good on its own. So just like the consular report documents, it's the very same thing. Okay. So you're good as is, where it is. Just go ahead and put it into your minutes, put it into the trust, and you may move forward.
Okay, perfect. I do appreciate that. That was really all I had. I hope I yield the floor. I appreciate your time.
Okay. All right. If you get another question, just pop your hand back up. We'll be here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, we're going to Capital One.
Hey, Avery, what's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm good. Who am I speaking with?
That's Capital. Since out of Brooklyn, New York.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Kiambuzwadi is my real name, but I signed in my Google account, so it comes up as Capital One.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I just joined your forum community about a week ago, and I got to tell you, brother, you're very informative, very detailed. So I appreciate joining the community. And I just have a question or two in reference to I did the process with the authentication, me and my wife, and I think I fumbled in the goal line because I did my tracking to see where my package went, and it indicated to me that it's returned to sender. Okay. So I think I made a mistake somewhere with the PO box or something like that. Is there a way that I could check to see if the process was done and how I can retrieve it? Because I'm pretty sure I got the documentation. They said it was located at a zip code in Brooklyn where I live at. So I'm just was wondering did you ever hear a case like this, and what you think I should do to retrieve those documents if possible?
You're saying that your birth certificate is trying to come back to you and it can't come back?
Yeah, right.
Who is it coming
was
from?
sent to
Secretary of State or Department?
I'm sorry?
Who is it coming from? Secretary of State in New York or the department?
It's coming from federal. I did the state part. Now it's coming back from the federal level. So it's at the last step.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna have to call. You have to call them or actually go there in person, and just give them your name. That's all that is required, and they'll tell you if they got it on hand, and you can just take it home with you, or if you can correct the address with them, and they'll resend it out.
Now, when I correct the address, I'm still not giving them the address where I currently live at. I can still I have an postal PO box, so I give them that address to send it to. Correct?
Yeah, just make sure it's correct.
Okay. Okay, got you. All right, and the second question is in reference to passport and driver's license conversion. My driver's license expires in 2025. So what is the steps to go through the conversion of, now that I'm in the process of doing it the other way around? Do I go to the DMV, or is there a separate type of form, just like the passport, that I have to find to fill out to do as a private?
All right. Let's talk about the actual vessel that you will be using in order to attract attention on the road. So that would be your vehicle. So is your vehicle paid off, or does it have a lien?
No, my vehicle's that I'm currently driving is paid off.
Very good. All right. Who's the registered owner? You or LLC?
Right now, I am, not the LLC as of yet.
Okay. You got a foreign trustee?
That I don't. I haven't gotten to that part yet.
All right. So what you need to do is transfer the vehicle to the trust, and you want to put the foreign trustee as the foreign trustee, or the, trustee of the trust. That's what's going to be listed on the actual registration. Okay.
Okay.
You want to have that foreign trustee get limited liability insurance for the car. You can use Progressive, and they can do it in any state. And then you go ahead and get your foreign driver's license out of Panama, get your international driving permit that goes with it. And the name that goes on those documents is your title of nobility name. From there, you contact Progressive and you obtain for yourself P2P insurance, personal injury protection insurance. That'll cover you and cover anybody that you damage. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can ride in the trust car, and you have the proper documentation. So let's say you're pulled over, you give them that, and you're not at a border or a port. So therefore, the officer is not going to ask you for proof of how you are here in the States, giving them a Panama identification. If you were at a port, trust me, you don't want to do that. Just don't get caught at a port with that, because then they'll ask you for passport and all that stuff information.
Okay.
But in the event that they do, and you're at a port, crossing a border line or state line, and that does happen, you absolutely will need your passport from the USA, the card and the book, showing that you are, or that name, the title nobility name in that updated passport information is valid. So that's when the officers will ask you, wait a minute, you got a foreign driver's license for Panama, but you got a USA passport? How does that work? Simple. Panama and United States have a dual citizenship treaty. So you have a foreign residence over in Panama. That's where you currently stay. But here in the States, your job as a consultant, whatever you want to call, requires you to come to the States for about 2 weeks. As long as you're not telling them that you've been here for 30 days plus, that's when they're going to try to cite you and give you some tickets for saying that, hey, you need to actually get a state driver's license. So it would be wise. It would be wise that when you go to, you should make a trip to go to Panama at least once a year, just to show that you got those stamps in your passport book.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Does that also fall in line with the passport the same way I'm doing with the driver's license? And what if I get a new car, that also falls in line? Like if I want to get a new car, or whatever the case may be, that's not paid up or finance in the meantime. It got that also fall into it, that category?
If you get a new car and you're going to finance it, then you got to use the personal guarantor to provide the social security number. Title nobility doesn't have that, so you have to use the birth name and its driver's license with it, with the DMV. So if you know you're going to do that, go ahead and renew your license at the DMV. But do not mark off that you are going to be a donor. Do not mark off that you want to be a part of registration. And when it comes to adding the social security number on the application, you got to put brackets around each digit. each of the 9 digits. You got to put brackets around the numbers of your address, because it absolutely will have to be a resident address. They will not let you put your iPostal on there. Somehow I was able to get it done. I just had favor in my day when I did it. But if you're able to put your iPostal address on there, that's great. If not, and it has to be a residence address, you got to put the brackets around the numbers, put the brackets around the city, and put the brackets around the zip code.
Okay, that's acceptable. They will question. They probably might not question it, but they'll see it on the application. But that's the way to go about doing it. Okay. All right, it's a lot, but I'm going to switch over. I just want to know the steps of doing it. And Ava, thanks very much. Appreciate that. If I have any further questions, I'll ask down the line if we're still able to.
Okay, all right. Yes, indeed, it is a lot, but it's really not. Once you just understand what you're doing, you can do it. It's really simple.
I will do it. So the process is just different for me, but we doing everything step by step. It's a learning process, but it's great, and I appreciate everything, Dave.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure. All right, going to Lou V, New Jersey. What's going on?
Peace, Chief.
Peace. Everybody's asking, can you get in? Can you get in? I think they know you got some information for us.
I got something for you, but it's not YouTube friendly.
Well, I may have to just blank that part out.
So you want to double back to me, or you want to blank me out?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's a little spicy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So getting my ass whooped left and right, and did the writ of Presepi. Wasn't able to get it on file. You know how it goes. So I got a little bit of advice from one of your master students to put the ISLN number as a trustee minute and go that route of non-UCCing the actual case for the FD, family division. Thoughts, like, am I jumping in a water full of sharks? Should I be cool and do the according satisfaction now after this? Like, I want to slice a head off, but
right,
I want to show them I'm not fucking around.
You've
Respectfully.
done everything in your power, and what they've done is ignore. Ignore. Plausible deniability is the best way to say you're right without them saying they're wrong. So now, yes, you can do accord and satisfaction and send a payment directly to the Bureau. And we're talking about child support, everybody. So let them cash it, and then you move forward with the enforcement of that. Now, I got to show you exactly how to enforce the payments when it comes to child support. It's a little different than everything else, but it can get done because you got all the proof. You got all the filings.
Okay, so you're telling me to go the A&S route. I already submitted online through Bergen County the trustee minute of her ISLN number. So are you telling me chill with the non-UCC and do the A&S?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So chill on that. All right.
Now, all of your court filings that you've done so far already serves as your bona fide dispute. So you don't need to do a separate dispute for them. Just send them some money. I don't care.
A little money.
$1. I don't care if it's 50 cents, but in check format. So yes, A&S, it does work for support if that's our last method. But there are case laws that will support that you can find where an A&S was submitted to child support, and then you would file a whole nother case suing the state and child support to shut down a previous case.
Yeah, I looked into that, and I'm happy you said that because I found a form, New Jersey. It's called bear with me for a second, brother. 345.1. Notice of claim instruction, initial notice of claim for damage against the state of New Jersey, like a tort claim.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to come at her with, I want to throw the sink at her for
I
laughing in my
understand.
face. Respect. Let me chill. But yeah, um, I want to do that, and that is an option that I have, right?
It is a major option that you have.
And I'm stepping to her, disgusting ass, from the capacity of the trust, correct?
At that point, yes, because it's a new suit. So now the trust is coming in.
Trust gonna punch on her stomach. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you, Avery.
Worry, you're gonna get it.
I've been here, man. I'm still here. So all right, let's get it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna get it.
I appreciate you, brother. Real quick, can I fill out the tort claim, send it to your email, and listen, I'll go 60-40 with you. Whatever we get, let's fuck her day up, you know? Because look, everyone in the chat is listening to me. They don't know me. They ordered me to pay 154 a week. I'm sending her 200 a week. I'm sending her more money than what the court ordered me. I get them every weekend. I
Yeah.
blow dry their hair, I paint their nails, they go home with bags of clothes. So I'm here. I'm a dad.
Right.
And it's just stupid. Like they're saying 154. I'm sending her more. So everyone's telling me, oh, just send the 154 to them. And I'm like, what don't you understand? I don't want the state involved. That's just a little backstory of it.
Right. Yeah, we all agree. We all agree. We know. You're a real father. Real father. Most fathers out there won't do that. And that's why I'm helping. Because I see it.
So yeah, you've even spoken to my girls on the phone. So I'm gonna fill out the tort claim. I'm gonna shoot it to your email. And like I said, I commit to 60-40. Let's get this bag. Let's get this money. It's really not even about the money. It's more I want to fuck her day up.
Yeah, we're talking 241 and 242 lawsuit, Title 18.
Let's get this money, Avery.
Mm-hmm. We'll
I
get
will
it.
be in touch with you, my brother, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. We'll do it.
You'll hear from me soon.
Yeah, great testimony in the end.
It's gonna be good.
All right,
Thank you.
guys. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Listen to some elevator music, and we'll come right back and we'll finish with everybody's questions. Quick little break. right? Let's get back to it. You guys still with me? Okay. Let's answer Mr. Hamal. I'm sorry. TH. I'm just going to say TH. My pronunciation is just bad this morning. I don't understand it. But the question here you wrote in the chat, you're trying to file your DBA or your fictitious business name. And in one of the webinars that I referenced, the affidavit, we were talking about if you use the government forms, it's only good for 7 days. So the question is, do we still file the affidavit in the county that you're doing business in, or in person, or mail it with the return? Okay, so let me go ahead and share with you all. And this is why it's good for you guys to come into these calls, because as you see, I'm randomly sharing my screen to show different remedies that come up that may need to be addressed. You may see something in the course that was good, and that course was put together about 2 years ago. So I'm always going to make adjustments and updates for you guys as you run into situations. So if we go into, well, it would help to share my screen first. There is, I told you, you guys can file your DBAs in any state and any county. You can bring it into your county. So let's say you are doing business in New York, but New York is giving you problems. Well, you can file it in, let's say, Florida. Very simple. It's like, look at TransUnion. They're based out of a foreign country, but they have DBAs in many different states. But in that foreign country, the DBA is saying that they're doing business in every single state within America. Okay, so that's because you're utilizing a principal address. You have a headquarters address. So for TransUnion, headquartered in Spain. Principal address, New York. Mailing address, Florida. Okay, so let's go to a newspaper. We're going to utilize a newspaper instead of the county filing. I want you guys to look up Heritage. I'm sorry. I want you to look up www.column.us. And you're going to make an account. It's free to do it. Place a notice. Let's place a notice. So let's say we're talking about the DBA, and let's first establish our location. Let's go with Florida. Hit apply. Now it's going to pull up every single newspaper in every single county in Florida that you can use. So I'm going to select a newspaper that I'm familiar with. That would be Heritage, Florida Jewish News. You know, the Jews got it locked down. Hit next. You put in your information, right? Now, do I want to do this here and now? No, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what is next. Once you put on your information, you hit next. The reason why I'm not going to show it here, because this is going to go on YouTube, and that, we got to keep things germane to you guys. But you will see it in the courses in the next videos I'm updating. When you hit next, they will ask you for what type of filing. You're going to select public notice. Next, below that, it allow you to take your trustee minutes, because you have your DBA in the form of an affidavit. And in that affidavit, it allows you to put the names of every single DBA you want. 7, 15, 3, whatever you have. And you're putting the trust is doing business as blankety blank LLC. So your LLC is in New York, but you don't want to use New York's forms. We're using Florida Jewish Heritage. So we would put trust is doing business as blankety blank LLC, and below that, the headquarters, New York address, the principal address. You select a Florida address. You do that by going to loopnet.com and select any available lease unit that's available in that county, whatever county you want. Say it's Osceola County. Select an address for a building that's available. You're not getting into a lease agreement with the real estate agents over there, so it doesn't matter. This is going to be filed in New York anyway. And then select the mailing address, which is your iPostal address. Now, they will allow you to copy and paste the exact format of your trustee minute. Just paste it in there. It's going to be about $30. You submit it, and they're going to file it for, let's say, I think 1 to 7 day filing in the newspaper. You'll get a certified publication of that. And now you've just perfected your DBA. It can happen anywhere because of this website here. If you were to select another state, doesn't matter. Every single state within the union will allow you to select a newspaper with that information. If we go to New York, here you are. Every single newspaper that's available. The Chronicle Express is a great newspaper. That's actually where they had put the notice out for what was about to happen on 9/11 prior to the day it happened. And everybody who knew about the paper, they got out of there. That's why the newspaper is so important. They let you know what's going to happen there before, standard social media and news. If anybody's a fan of John Wick, you see all the private information that happens in that private world in their cell phones, and then the actual catastrophe takes place. Sad, but that's a little tidbit to know. All right, let's continue with our questions. We're going to go to Ryan. You are muted. How goes it in Colorado?
Oh, it's going great, Avery. Appreciate your time. I have a question kind of piggybacking on Samuelson's questions and comments in regards to brokerage accounts and crypto accounts. And I've still got some old accounts that are in my personal name. And I'm wondering if I should just open new accounts in the enterprise name, or if I should let those ride as they are and deal with it when I liquidate them someday.
So, good question. Let me go back to the tax forms that we discussed earlier. You can leave them as is, or you can go ahead and give them a W-8 bin E to update it with the withholding agent, making sure that the 9/8 is on file and with your enterprise EIN. I think you should go that route, the W-8 bin E, and list the trust enterprise. Give them that EIN to transfer everything, and they'll do it because you're going to say you're the trustee to that enterprise. So it's not
so
like,
essentially that's just modifying the existing account, right?
yeah, it's just modifying. Are you able to upload new tax forms?
I think I can do it on 2 of them. One of them is a more conventional brokerage that's not online. So I may struggle with that one, but let me try it and see. And then if I hit a wall or run into anything, I'll post it in the chat or DM you.
Okay. Yeah, let me know. And if you can't, for whatever reason, worst case scenario, when you cash out and liquidate for the taxes, you're going to have to do the Schedule 1. And right here in number 3, where it talks about business income or loss or other gains. You'll put that amount there, whatever you liquidate it, but put it in brackets or parentheses, which will reference a negative, a true loss. And when you see the webinars for the taxes at the end of May, you'll see how the other Schedule Cs and Schedule E as well will help make sense of as to what you're doing, so that way there's no tax liability on your part, and all of that is transferred over to the exempt trust.
Okay, and that Schedule 1 that you have pulled up, what form is that? Is it just called as Schedule 1 to the IRS? Oh, 1040, I got you.
This is Schedule 1 1040. So if you use this, these are the forms that you would attach it to: 1040, 1040 SR, and 1040 NR for non-resident.
So if I'm not filing a 1040 at all, which I'm not, do I even need to worry about this?
Well, yes, once you cash out, the withholding agent is going to give you a 1099.
Got it.
And so they're going to report to the IRS, your EIN or your social on that amount of money that's liquidated. So then you got to do a 1040 to clear it up.
Okay, so question on the back of that then too, if I've received interest, a 1099 form from a bank with interest, even if it's for $5, I need to file that 1040 to clear it up.
No, that's anything above 600.
Okay, above $600, got it. Is that in sum, or is that for a single event? The 600.
Sum total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I appreciate everything, Avery. That gets me covered for today.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, let me know if you're able to do that online. And like I said, worst case scenario, that's how you would file it.
Got it. Well, and I'll see if I can get those W-8 bannees done. That's what I'm going to try to do first. And
okay,
if I have any trouble, I'll let you know.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Avery. Be well.
You too. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Is it Mikkel? Did I say that right?
Hi. Yes, very, very close. It's Michael.
Michael. Okay.
Yes, sir. This is my first time. I just joined this week. And can I tell you, I have so much immense gratitude for you and being a part of this community today and seeing the dynamics within the community. I just cannot express my gratitude enough. It has taken me many dollars and much time to find you and your community. And I am so grateful, Avery. Thank you.
I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a question just because I've come into so much information. I'm trying to narrow down what is the correct information. And I've found this way of life through the pain point of debt and discharge of debt and things of that nature. So I have since taken some steps back and understood that there is an immense amount of due process, and I want to do it correctly with the crossing of the T and the dotting of the I. So I have one question that does deal with debt discharge, fully understanding that I need to get everything done first, but I am in a bit of a deadline, and we are selling our home. We have a lot of equity in our home. We're selling our home in the next 2 months, and we are under contract, a contingency contract for property. And we need to get the home sold, but I am very interested in doing the debt discharge with our mortgage. My question is, if we go about the process like normal, like within the system, what normal people would do, will I be able to possibly get the amount of this mortgage back even after everything has closed with this house?
Good questions. Good questions. And like most of us, we all came into this world through the idea of discharge, and if that is possible. And it is possible. Now, the Treasury discharge and utilizing their forms, even the Fiscal Bureau Service departments, I've never seen them do it within a 2-month time frame or earlier or sooner.
Yes, sir.
So And it's always done by their discretion. If they need to do it by balancing the books, they will do it. We don't know if they're going to do it or not, so we just continuously send and send and send. Now, I'm going to give you two forms of discharge outside of that. Number one, accord and satisfaction. Have you heard of that process?
Not until I stepped into your community.
Yeah. So you're going to look at that in your state and follow the rules of how to do that, which comes from UCC 3-311. Very simple to do, how to start it. You find a point dispute. Find something to dispute within your agreements with the lender. They don't respond. You give them a check with specific language. It's a restrictive endorsement on the front and back. You scan it before you give it to them. They cash it. You give them a statement of accounting to approve and finalize what they've done. Sometimes they say, oh, you're right, we agree. When you send that payment, you also want to get a payoff quote. Send that in too. So that way they fully know what's happening. And if they still ignore you saying, no, you still owe this amount, then we take them to court and we sue. Now, the best form of discharge. If I accumulate property, whether that's a car, a few houses, I'm going to go after the Jubilee rule. That's a biblical treaty law. Every 7 years, 70 times 7, your debts are forgiven. So that would be Chapter 7. And it's perfectly fine to file Chapter 7. These are what the financial titans do. They purposely know they're going to start a business to bankrupt it and cash out of it. There's a lot of money to gain from bankruptcy if you tie life insurance policies to them using wholly corporate-owned life insurance. So in the bankruptcy law, it says if property is turned over to an irrevocable trust specifically, and it's been in there for at least 2 years, it will be considered a non-asset petition in Chapter 7, meaning the bankruptcy trustee cannot force you to sell your property and use the proceeds to pay off the lender. So they would discharge the mortgage. They would discharge the auto loan. They would discharge the credit cards. They would discharge the personal loans. And the trust would still be able to keep the asset because it is the owner. And you keep it, removing all your debt. But the question here is, do you want to wait 2 years before you have the ability to do that? Some people know. Some people are in a situation of foreclosure. If you are in foreclosure, I recommend filing Chapter 7 right away. That'll at least give you an automatic stay and a fighting chance to prolong the process and start working on those other measures that I talked about. But you have to sell in 2 months. This may be a property where you may not be able to utilize any form of discharge because of the time frame. And you absolutely want to have the property in the trust for some time so that way courts don't see it as you're trying to defraud the system or take advantage.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you're going to sell the property and you absolutely have to, and you have to cash out of it, what you want to take care of is the actual proceeds, the amount that you're going to get that's considered capital gains. So the question is, what do you plan on doing with the capital gains? Do you have to purchase another property? Is this for something personal that you have to utilize? What's happening?
I thank you for that. Yes, sir. We are, we will be putting the entire amount of equity that we have in the home into the property. It should be an even exchange. We do have an irrevocable trust that we just set up and about a month ago, but after coming into the detail of your material, we still have our legal names, or not the legal names, but certainly not again to your detail and what you recommend with the birth certificate and all of that completely done. So there is still a way where this irrevocable private trust that we have, our names are still attached to that, even with the new bank account that we just opened. So Yeah, I'm just having to do a lot of back steps now. But I was just my desire was to, now that I know what I know about the fraud that's happening, I was hoping, we owe only about 100,000 with the mortgage company, and I was honestly just wanting to get that money, to be honest with you. And so that's where we're at. We're not near foreclosure. It would take a lot for me to get my energy around bankruptcy. I mean, that's just like such a new process for me. I don't even know energetically and emotionally if I could get myself around that yet. I'm just so new. But this has been incredibly helpful, Avery. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bankruptcy and insolvency law is the answer to everyone who is in this space who wants to get access to the money. That is where you have to go. And they know it is a monster and a mountain to climb. So, but we will be teaching on it. We will be doing that. That's the only way to get to those CAFR accounts.
I'm so incredibly grateful, Avery. Thank you. I've put no less than about $5,000 into this whole private life process and everything that comes underneath this umbrella. And somebody recommended your book. I read it in one day. One day I read your book. It was so good. And then I found your community. And can I tell you, like, I went all in with the $250 a month, and it is so worth every penny. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for your support. I'm going to recommend, even though you're about to sell in 2 months, I'm going to recommend that you do the bona fide dispute, send a letter to the bank. And in 7 days from there, I want you to submit a payment of equal amount of your monthly mortgage payment in the form of a court of satisfaction. There's detail that you write on the front and detail you write on the back. You have that information already. And after that, I want you to submit a UCC 9-210 letter, statement of accounting. Of course, this is 7 days after they cash it. That way you have a legitimate claim right there on that face. You have a legitimate claim. Now you can proceed to sell the property. You'll get your proceeds, $100,000, what have you. But that gives you an opportunity, even though the property has been sold, you can go back, file a suit against that lender and say, hey, from this point when you cashed it up until the date it was sold, there's more money on the table that should have come to you because it was zero. There shouldn't have been a portion where monies goes to the mortgage and then monies go to you. All of the equity in that property coming from zero should have gone to you. So you can go and sue after you sold the property as long as you get that accord and satisfaction cashed and set up before you close out of it.
Thank you. That is the answer to my initial question. So much gratitude. Thank you, Mr. Avery, so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Go back to Carlos. How are you? Second round. Carlos, you there?
I'm here. I'm sorry, man. I'm cooking for the kids, so I'm listening. I love everything. Hey, man, pretty much I'm new to the community as well. But hey, man, one thing that I wanted to ask you is when it comes to foreign trustees, I know that I heard one of your videos saying, hey, if you guys any foreign trustees, so I got like 3 family members in Colombia, and one of them is we already started the process. We already got the EINs. I submitted the letters to the IRS. But I also want to let you know that I have a couple of people that may be interested in actually doing that if you are looking for foreign trustees. But my question was, can I have 2 foreign trustees into one trust, or there's only limited to one person?
Yes, you can have more than one. You can have a sole trustee who has control over those 2 factors, and then successor trustees in case something happens to them. But let's say give that successor trustee a job, let's say that you're only going to do the banking portion or administration portion or whatever, or limited power of attorney, things like that. Just you can do
Got it. All right, perfect. Because I was also looking into those laws, and I know that you said being a foreign trustee allows you and gives you the option to come into the States without having to have a visa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Am I correct? All
If
right, perfect.
they would use the trust, and maybe even if necessary, a company that has been created here as a sponsorship to help them get their B1 or an EB5. And they can come as a non-immigrant visa.
Non-immigrant visa. Okay, perfect. One last question, because I know the gentleman that was talking about court kind of sparked a question in regards to divorce court. I know that it's also a civil court, but I don't hear anyone talking about this. All I hear is traffic court, criminal court. Not one person talks about divorce court. And I'll tell you why, because I'm going through something like that. How can I benefit? At the same time, I want the state out of it. I'm trying to take care of the family, her, not a problem. I'm even trying to pay all of her bills off as part of all of this, but I want the state to actually be out of it. So what can I do? What are my options? What can I do in this whole process, doing what we're doing and now knowing what I know?
Yes, certainly. It's a constitutional law that the states cannot breach private contract. So what you need to do is draft up a contract between you and her and list everything that you're going to do with the children, everything you're going to do with her as far as medical, food, all of that. Time spent, travel, everything. Don't leave anything out. And you have to serve that to her. Let her get an opportunity to show that she received it, have time to go over it. Sometimes they ignore it. And that's good on your part. So the next time you go into court, you show that you've served that party that information, and now the judge is going to review it. They're going to look at it and say, we're going to go off of this now and settle it.
Okay. Even if, and let me just ask you this, even though that if we've been in this process for almost 3 years, and the thing is like, and this is what has happened, just a little more background on this. We have come to an agreement almost 3 different times. Her attorneys get in the ear, and attorneys are just here to actually they're part of this whole system. And all of a sudden, everything gets derailed, and we go back to square one.
Yeah, that's where that private contract will come into play.
Okay. All right, perfect.
I understand that when attorneys come in and give their 2 cents on what should be done, and that kind of throws everything off. So as long as you're representing yourself, I mean, she may have her own, but I would definitely be per se or pro se.
Pro se, yeah. And it was crazy to me because at one point, so we had a couple of real estate properties. And at one point, I said, "Look, I'm going to pay everything off, close to $1 million in mortgage." I said, "I'll cure everything." They went back and they refute all of that just for me to be able to give her some maintenance. Maintenance that will go to like about $2,500 a month for the next 5 years, which is really nothing compared to what I was about to do. So it's like, come on, like, there's no common sense here in what I'm trying to do. So this is what it is. Like, man, I'm trying to take care of the family, trying to take care of her. We didn't work out. Let me just go my way. Let me take care of this. But not all these attorneys, they keep coming in, they keep messing the whole process. And it just became kind of burdensome, meaning that I want to move on with my life. I'm with someone already that I want to actually be with, but I can't even do that because I'm held up to this whole point in this whole process. So I'm trying to find out a fast way that I could just go, hey, clear this up. Let me just do this with her. Let me take care of everything else. I'm to the point that I said, look, I'll cure everything. Let me just go.
Yeah, I understand. Whose names are on the properties?
Both.
Okay.
But what I done, I filed UCT once on all properties, and I have full control. Little by little, some of the properties I have put under the trust as well. So I have an irrevocable trust. So the way that I found you, I came in a different way. I came through the SPC process. So, I've been turning things around. I've been able to actually do my SEC process and use IPNs, international promissory notes, to cure some of the debts. So, being an SPC doesn't really covers you fully, and in order to actually wealth creation and asset management and protection. So this is what this is what I was looking for, and thanks God that I found you. And we've been working little by little. We have a team that actually do this, and we've been studying everything that you have. But the properties are in both of our names.
Yes, okay. And that's exactly what it is, why that attorney had the power to do that, because when she hired her attorney, that gave him POA basically to step in, and pretty much you're married to him. That's how this court is going to look at it.
Yeah, that's
So
right there.
if the both of you can agree to grant deed or quit claim the properties to a land trust, then that takes them out of it. Now you can go back to that deal that you wanted to do with the sale.
Got it. Now, Avery, if I want to hire you guys to do this whole process for me, what is it going to take?
You're going to have to first, we're going to need a more in-depth conversation, of course.
Okay.
So get a consultation, and you want to select to speak with Frenchie. And
Frenchie, okay.
Yeah, she's
okay.
You'll see her inside the chat here answering all the questions for everybody. She's
she went back and forth with me, and I made the mistake of confusing her with a man. So I said, "Thanks, brother." And she corrected me. It was funny then.
Yeah.
So I apologize publicly.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, she's a powerhouse. So we trust her. But yeah, but I'll be involved in that, and we'll figure out what we can tailor to really get this thing squared away for you.
You got it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Okay. Good day to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Right.
All right. Luis Laporte. I hope I said the last name right. Just unmute your mic. There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Avery. It's Louise Laporte.
Just Laporte. Okay. I thought I was fancy there.
It's French. It's not Hispanic or Spanish.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm new to the freshman class. I read your book also, so I'm very appreciative of the content. It's been years that I've been looking for someone to teach in a way that made sense. So I've got a couple of questions. I'm a Canadian. I've been doing contract work in the United States since 2007. I'm a registered nurse. And I don't have any, I have a work social, and I'm here on a TN1 visa. Now I'm trying to retire. Actually, I haven't worked since August or September. And I'm trying to get into this mode, and I'm struggling a little bit. I think I sent you a little note on the chat on the freshman platform asking you, like, how do I go about this? So can I get an American trustee for my Foreign Express trust is my first question. Or
Well, let me ask this again. The country of birth is for you?
Canada.
Canada, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what state are you in now?
Texas.
My brother is down there, San Antonio.
Yeah, he's not far.
Okay. So what you want to do is you want to set up your trust and still utilize your trustee as a foreigner who's not a part of the United States at all. Okay. That is very important because you're going to be doing business within the United States of America in Texas.
Right.
Okay. Now, for you as a Canadian citizen, our system is sort of similar because Canada and United States are on the same footing by way of the Articles of Confederation. So you get your birth certificate, you're going to authenticate it there in Canada. They have their own authentication process. just ask them, where you first get your certified copy from, ask them, hey, listen, I'm going to be moving to Taiwan or Thailand. It is a non-Hague Convention country. How do I go about authenticating it with the Secretary of State? And they'll tell you. They're very nice. Once you have that, I don't believe you need to do a further authentication like we would, born here in the United States, but you can try it. You can try to submit it to the the U.S. Department of State using Form DS 4194, and that would fully authenticate your birth certificate based out of Canada. Okay. From there, you just move forward as normal, as the course explains, and place everything within trust. So that way you'll be ready to utilize that trust to assume liabilities for taxes that you accumulate here. Now, you said that you have a work visa, correct?
Yes, a TN1 visa.
And you have an I-10 from the IRS?
No,
No? Okay.
no.
So you're using the number that is on that work visa in the form, I mean, it's 9 digits. So
Yeah.
you can actually use that to build credit on, and you can actually use that to file your taxes with as well. So whatever name is associated with that visa is what's going to go inside of the trust. You have to get your 98 number for the Foreign Express Trust. And from there, you will be able to transfer everything over into that Foreign Express Trust. When it comes to taxes, it's very simple.
Okay. I've been filing taxes in the United States. There's a tax treaty between Canada and the United States. I was talking to the IRS and clearing my name, or the Revenue Canada to see if I have any liens against my name from when I worked up there. But I'm a W-2, or I was a W-2. My visa will be expiring in 25, and I'll be going in and out of the country. Like, I'm trying to go to Mexico. And I can get back into the country with that visa. But I read something else, and maybe you can clarify this. I read that if you come into customs and you say you're a contractor for a trust, they can allow you in and out of the country for any amount of time. Is that right?
There's the power of trust, indeed.
Okay, good. Because once that visa expires, they'll want to send me back to Canada. And then they may allow me to come back, as any other Canadian can come to the United States for 180 days.
Right. Now, do you remember where you saw that information about the trust?
It's tootling around all the, I'm a kind of a link clicker. If there's a word or a phrase or anything in your documentation that I don't understand, I have to go look it up.
Okay.
So I've been reading a lot of it, and no, I do not remember. But it's stuck. It's stuck because I have to come across. I haven't been back to Canada recently, but I'd like the freedom to go back and forth.
Correct. Right.
Without being impaired. So that's going to be my go-to once that expires. The other question I have is I'm about to take out pensions, and they want a 30% tax on lump sum pensions. Do I just pay the tax and then go after it in the back end, or is there a withholding or a form that I can send to the pensioner companies in order to liquidate my funds?
Correct. W8 bin E is the form.
Okay.
I'm going to pull it up, and we're going to kind of get an understanding of it. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Now, I do have a video on it in the course within the Zoom classes. You'll find it there.
Okay.
And that example, we were talking about land trusts and real estate property. But in this particular example, for example, here in box 1, you would list your Foreign Express Trust. In the country of origination, it's going to be Sultanate of Oman. Let me explain that. Your trust is organized by that country, Oman. However, it will be interpreted by the laws of Texas. That's a clause that you're going to see inside of the Declaration of Trust towards the bottom before you sign. That's how you take it from another country into the United States of America. You don't want to use Canada as your foreign country because they're very similar to the USA. So use that. In box 3, this is where you would put your name, because that's where the pension is being held. And that's the name of the entity that is being disregarded over to the Foreign Express Trust. Now, how do I do that? This is what I do. Yeah, because the only way I can reclassify your estate over to the foreign trust is by getting an estate number, an estate EIN. So when you see that part in the course, you guys correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but that is the sophomore section. When you go online for EIN online, you enter your name and you also enter it in a special way. And it should come out like this. Family of Cottrell. And then you put doing business as Avery Duvall Cottrell. So now I can say the monies from this pension that is coming to me with the social security number, it's actually going to the estate number. Okay. And from there, you click estate. Now follow the prompts in that video that shows you how to fill out everything else. But that is how, and then this form, once you're done, you give it to the actual withholding agent that is holding your pension. This could be Social Security. This could be any 401k. And this can also be for Bitcoin trading or whatever that you want to liquidate. That's how you would do that. Okay. So the W8 bin E is, that's the major form that you're going to use. All right, good questions. So let's keep it going. We're going to go to Reggie. How you doing, Reggie? You there? Reggie 0084, just got to unmute your mic. No, all right, we're going to come back. Going to go to Darla. Darla, are you there?
Hey, Avery, thank you for taking my call.
Hey there.
Shabbat Shalom, by the way. And I was editing till about 2 in the morning. So I wrote down my question. I sent it to you in chat, but I wrote it down so I can put my head around it. I just started the sophomore course late last night. I've received my 98 number. I got on my call with the IRS with my foreign trustee from Australia. And one of the questions they asked me was I, the title of nobility, a beneficiary? And I sort of stumbled. I said yes. And then I thought I made a mistake. If I did, I want to know how to remedy that. If I didn't, that's what I felt like I was right. And the other question is, I have my property, 9 acres here in Hawaii. It's a family farm. We do not have a home. We've lived in military tents for 5 years. My kids really want me to get financing and get a house built at this point because I just paid off the property. It's in my business right now. I had to move it from a family trust. I moved it to
Hold on. Let me see if I got to catch up with you.
Okay.
Right. On that first part, you were talking about your title nobility name being the beneficiary. So you don't want to have that person as listed as the beneficiary in your trust. You want to have the actual express trust itself. Okay.
Right. Okay. So is there anything I need to do to remedy that? Because I did tell him yes.
Who exactly? One more time.
The IRS, they asked me, are you a so I called in the name of the title of nobility and I was on the phone with my foreign trustee at the same time with them. But she asked me as my title of nobility name, are you a beneficiary? And I said, yes. Do I need to remedy that?
Did you get a 9-8 number?
I got a 9-8 number. I also got the follow-up letter from them that we need to answer.
Okay, good. So as long as you got that 9-8 number and you didn't provide a social security number or your birth name,
Right.
you're fine. Now, when you do the follow-up correspondence, you don't have to mention anything about the beneficiaries. They don't care.
Okay, perfect. Okay, my other question is the letter we've got to send back to the IRS now to give them all the documentation, the correspondence letter. My business is the one that holds my family farm right now. Should I mention them or not? I do not want the property to end up in an irrevocable trust because I want to be able to sell it at some point.
So what you want to do is transfer it to a land trust, revocable land trust,
Mm-hmm.
and have your business listed as the trustee. So you sign off your name as manager, such and such LLC trustee. That's how you would sign it off. Okay. And
Okay.
the beneficiary of that land trust, and if since it's revocable, then you can go ahead and say, who do you want to be the actual beneficiary? Your children, your business, it doesn't matter because it's revocable.
Okay, will the business be the grantee then? They're the grantor rather on the land trust?
Of course, because they're the one that's on the title right now.
All right, and is the business able to be the grantor on my foreign express trust?
Not really, because
Okay.
it's going to be the owner of that LLC. So whoever created that LLC would have to be the settler grantor to the Foreign Express Trust. That way you turn it over to the trust.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right.
Avery, I have one more question if I could ask. Can I have a meeting with you when I need, this is big stuff. I've got my family's property here and I don't want to mess things up. When I get into a crunch that needs more than one question a month, can I meet with you?
When you, if you schedule a consultation with any one of my reps, we all discuss the information that you want to talk about before you have the consultation. So I guide them on what you're going to talk about, on what information they're going to give you. If for any reason you feel that your question was not answered enough and you're still unsure, you let them know and then they'll bring it to me and they will reply it back to you. So
Okay.
I'm involved. I'm involved regardless if you're talking directly to me or with them.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we got to go with 2 more, and then that's our time. Let's see who's new. We have Mickey. You are muted.
Hi, Avery. How's it going?
Good, sir. And yourself?
Can you hear me there?
Loud and clear. Yes. Yeah, I think you just muted yourself. Go ahead and unmute your mic. There you go.
Hey, can you hear me again?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, sorry about that, Avery. It's my first time on a Zoom call.
Oh, okay. No problem.
So I have because I was following Patrick Devine, I had already obtained my foreign grantor trust EIN, my decedent's estate EIN, and a private banker's EIN too, but I probably won't do anything with that. But what I'm in a weird kind of in between now because getting the estate EIN, I was advised by the IRS to file obviously 1041 for the periods that I filed for, which was all the way back to 2002. So briefly, my question is just, do you think it's better for me to just wait until I have the foreign grantor trust kind of all set up and then just file from that on a 1041? Or would it be ill-advised to do a 1041 from the estate in the meantime?
May I ask, what is the name of your foreign grantor trust, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, sure. The foreign grantor trust name is Corey Allen Christensen Trust.
That's okay. So that's pretty much an Insligus name, right?
It is, yes.
Okay. the whole point of this, we want to make sure we remain anonymous.
Surely.
So if you could change it, that'd be great. I will start there.
Sure.
Now, the EIN that you have for it, is it a 98-67 number?
It is, yes. When I filed it as trustee. Didn't link social or anything like that. It was in Canada.
Okay.
So I believe I could get away with it, but I have no reservation about redoing it. Like I said, I came into, as you know, there's so many different mentors in the space.
Yeah.
I just kind of went gung ho, and I got everything kind of necessary, and now I'm just trying to put kind of the pieces together. So, but
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, so you can remedy it. You can save it, no problem.
sure.
Now there was a part about the 1041.
Yeah, just briefly. And I mean, I know you probably don't want to give tax advice, and I respect that. But where I'm at now is I haven't filed for 2022 because I came into all this information and I was like, okay, hold the phones. I'm not going to file 1040 again. And then when I got the estate EIN, obviously it's like I just declared the Social Security a decedent. So I'm assuming at this point that either I'm going to have to file from the EIN, I'm sorry, from the estate EIN or from a trust EIN for the years of 22 and 23. And I am a small business owner, so it's even more complex. So
okay,
I know that's a lot. So.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll figure it out.
Sure.
If there's anything to file in regards to your social security number, you're going to do
Yeah.
the 1040. If you've already done it, we go back and fix it on the 1040X because we got to transfer it, correct it over to your foreign trust.
Sure.
And trust comes into play on the 1041.
Yes.
So it can be fixed. It can be remedied. Did you get any monies back when you filed or no?
No, and I'm in a pretty good position because, like I said, I didn't file for 22 yet. I'm trying to stay in honor with the IRS, obviously, because I generate a ton of money in my business. I've used a ton of credit, and I know that like the 1099s are going to come into play and everything. But the last year I filed was 21, so I have to file yet for 22. I'm late. I don't care. It's whatever. I do have income, so I guess what I'm gathering is that I should probably, for the sake of simplicity, just continue filing the 1040 for 22, and then do my Schedule C as I usually have done, because I just don't think I'm going to be in a position where I can really stand on being tax exempt. I just want to make a smooth transition. I don't care that I have to pay tax in the meantime before I can get like a solid understanding of all this. But
A lot
yeah,
of people had your mentality.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine. You can file it as normal because you know that once you have a better understanding of this, okay, I can go back and do it. And when you go back and do it, you're going to get whatever you paid. It's going to come back to the trust.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's
Good
solid
plan.
advice. Thank you, Avery. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy with that plan. That works.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's go back. Let's try Reggie. You are muted.
Hey, Avery. Hello
Yo.
to everyone in the chat.
How you doing out there? Maryland, correct?
Yes. Well, I moved to West Virginia, so it's West Virginia now. It's been a while.
It has.
Yeah. So I had a question about the estate. My mom recently passed, and my mom and dad didn't know about this information, and I was just telling my dad about it, and he enrolled in the 0%. We just recently watched the Should the Spouses Share Trust, and it did say that for the wife, like when she's living, I wasn't too sure how to structure, or well, for my dad, how he should structure it. Should he still create a separate express trust for my mom and have his separate trust? Or how should he go about creating a trust for my mom, because she has assets and like she has like some land in there as well? Wasn't too sure how to do that.
Okay. I'm so sorry for your loss. It's never
Thank you for your condolences.
It's never an easy thing.
No.
Did mom leave any kind of will or testament in writing for the property?
Um, my mom didn't, but they did do a quick claim deed into a entity.
Mhm.
So the property is protected. My dad became my mom's authorized representative before she passed.
Mhm.
So he does have some like abilities to sign on my mom's behalf.
So he
But I
is the
just
executor.
yes.
Okay, that's good. And the entity that you're referring to that's holding all of the properties, including the land,
Mhm.
is he associated with those entities
Yes.
as a, let's say, manager or chief executive
Yes.
officer?
Exactly.
So he does have the power to transfer everything over into a land trust for the properties or directly into an express trust. As,
Correct.
as the executor, he has the power to do that. Okay.
Yes.
So he does not need a will from mom to tell him to do that because he already has that power and it's already in that. So you'll be okay if he moves forward with the same processes that you're doing on your own.
Okay. For my mom's estate, are you saying that he should do a separate express trust, or should he include my mom's estate in his express trust?
Right. He would just include the properties that he has control of into his express trust. There would be no point in making two separate ones because, mom would have to be the settler in hers and she'd have to sign
Right.
off as that. So because she
Okay.
do it, whatever she has left behind to the entities that your father controls, he will transfer that to his express trust.
Okay. And should we go through the process of authenticating like my mom's death certificate or my mom's birth certificate, or we don't need to do that?
The only time you should do that is if before they're considered a deceased, they have opened up a life insurance policy and they've made an express trust the beneficiary of that policy. So when the person passed, the proceeds from that life insurance policy allows them, whoever is the executor, it allows them when they probate that estate, they will be able to collapse
Okay.
monies in the death certificate in association with the life insurance policy. That is the only time an executor can file bankruptcy for the deceased estate.
Okay.
So that didn't happen. So
Mm-mm.
there's no need to authenticate the death certificate right now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for calling on me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good to hear from you again. All right. Let's see here. Go ahead. Let's go ahead with Terry.
Hi, Avery. I'm totally new with your group too. And I just love everything that you're doing right now for everybody. I just have a question that I don't know if I'm overthinking this because my mom used to tell me that. A birth certificate, my birth certificate is a lot like yours. I was born in Los Angeles County and California, and also Green signed it like your birth certificate. But the thing I didn't understand is that do I send it to the Secretary of State in California now? That was just a copy I received. And I want to know if I send it with an apostille application or do I use another form or both forms, the DS 4194 with that?
Yeah, I'll show you what you do there. So once you get a certified copy of your birth certificate, you're going to type in, go to Google, make this easier. California Secretary State Apostille. That's what we call it in California. It's called Apostille.
Okay, I might have the form.
Hit request Apostille. They tell you the locations where you can do it in person or you can just get the actual cover sheet. So you can do it by mail. Click that.
I think that's the exact one I have. So I send that with my birth certificate to the state of California, Secretary of State?
Correct, with a money order for the $20 or a check.
So
And
that's the only form that goes.
yes.
It's
So-
not the DS.
So it's this form as your cover. You fill it out. You want to put for the country, put Taiwan, and you add the certified birth certificate behind it. And then in the same envelope, you put in your money order. Then they're going to go ahead and send it back to you with the apostille connected to it. It's going to be stapled, so you don't want to take it off. Then from there, you have to get this form. You want to make sure that this is the updated copy. So I think this is the older one. You see here the date says February 2012. So if you actually go to the U.S. Department of State or travel.state website, you'll be able to find the updated copy. It should be green instead of all white. It should be green.
Yeah, I think I have that. It's the DS. What is that? The DS 4194.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I got the updated one. So that one goes to the Secretary of State that's in my state that I currently am, which is Missouri, or does it go to?
No. So you send it to California first. California will send it back to you in the mail. And then you'll take this and you'll mail it to Virginia. Their address is in Virginia. And then that's it. That's all you do.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Yeah, here it is. Here's the form. It's in green.
Yep, that's the one I have. Yep, green.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Here it is. They have the address where you send it. So you'll mail it to U.S. Department of State, Consular of Affairs, Passport Services, Office of Program Management and Operational Support, 44132 Mercure Circle, Sterling, Virginia.
And I don't have to put the application of the apostille, the foreign state. I just,
Whatever California sends you, they're going to give you a birth certificate back with the apostille stapled to it. And you have to take that and add it to this form here and mail it to Virginia. And then they're going to give you a final seal from the U.S. Department of State Secretary's office. It's a gold seal. And when you have the gold seal, you'll know that you're done.
okay. Yeah, because it says full credit on the top, right? Full
Yeah.
faith credit on top.
Faith and credit. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to do that Monday.
You're welcome. No problem.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Got time for one more. Going to Shayna. Or muted.
Hi, hello.
Hello there. How you
Can you
doing?
hear me? Hey, how is everyone? Sorry, I'm at work.
Oh, you're at work, so you got to be quiet a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. I was asking in the group chat that when it comes to the business bond, are we able to use that business bond to get funding for the business?
Only if you get a permit to do that. For example,
Oh, okay.
let me see. In California, it is called the Money Transmitter License Act. And so if I was in
Okay.
California, let me share my screen, you would have to get from
Okay.
this division of Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, you have to apply for a license. Now, your trust can apply for the license,
Okay.
and that will allow you to be able to sell your bond to the state bank. And the state bank will generate the money off of the bond, but the only way they're going to pay you for it is going to come back in the form of treasury bonds. So that's where you got to get the treasury account open. That's linked to your trust enterprise. They'll deposit the monies plus the insurance that your bond made once it reaches maturity, and it goes into that account, and that's when you'll be able to get money.
Okay, so would you say like this process will take what, about a year or two?
Take as long as it need to take, but yeah, about, well, not a year, less than that. When you go to the Treasury Direct website and you open up an account,
Correct.
that takes a few seconds. You connect your trust enterprise bank account with it, but to get the application, who knows how long that takes. And I believe the application right here, the filing fee is $5,000. So you're going to pay a pretty penny to make sure you can get these bonds.
Right. Okay. So I was just wondering because I know like going through like right now I'm on the stage of trying to get funding for the companies and just trying to find other ways because I know going like through the government, like trying to get government contracting, they kept on, saying that I have to be the owner and, in the system, the trust owns the company. So it's kind of like a back and forth thing with them. So I'm just like, I need to find some type of other ways to get funding for the companies.
Correct. Right. Yeah, I hear you. That permanent license is very important. That price may be different in your state, and your state division is it's called something completely different. I've seen it in Florida that fee is like $1,500. So it all depends.
Okay, so as far as the government contract though, like, are we able to, like, how do I get around that?
I'd have to see their parameters to really know.
Or is this a question that I need to talk? Is this a question I need to ask off the books?
No, it's not that. I just don't have all the information to properly give a good sound answer on it. So
okay.
I got to see their parameters of what
Okay, that's fine.
how you're exempt and everything.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I'm glad I'm still here and looking forward to more testimonies coming on. So yeah.
Oh, yes. Thank you guys for joining in. To leave off on a good note for you guys to study, look at those forms, those tax forms that I showed, get familiar with them. Go ahead and find out what your state is talking about as far as money transmitter license and permits. Get familiar with that information in your state. And I want you to get familiar with terms such as pledging assets, life insurance, whole life, collateral assignment is very important. And also start getting familiar with looking at bankruptcy. Chapter 7, that is liquidation. Don't really care about reorganization because now when you look at these things, we'll start to understand, okay, this is how we're going to fund these trusts on hundreds of thousands, 6 figures and up. Those 3 categories is how you're going to fund the trust. It's called collapsing your life estate. You are alive. What is the point in getting life insurance? I mean, of course, it's for your children and everybody you leave behind when we pass away, but what if you could take advantage of it while you are alive? Wouldn't that be something? And you absolutely can. So when you look at what Trumps and the Vanderbilts and all of them are doing, of course, people in media will raise their head and say they're evil people and how could they just defraud the employees and all that stuff, but they had a plan to build family wealth. And just because they can do it doesn't mean that they are the only ones exempt. You can do it too. Shelf corporations, fund it with life insurance, and then bankrupt the business. That is it for getting that money. So there's ways to do it. And I'm excited to share that with you guys. And I don't want to just talk of a theory. I want to show you my own accounts. It's going to be really good. All right. So that's all the time we got today. Again, thank you, Frenchie, for being the powerhouse. You did it all by yourself and doing the best you can and answering everybody's questions in the chat. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being there. I got some other reps in here too, but they just decided to remain silent. They just like to kick back and listen. I'm gonna have to get on their head when I talk to them. But thank you guys for all participating. We started off at 10 o'clock today with this, and we're ending with the same head count. So that's really good. You guys paid attention to the information. If you guys have any questions pertaining to the course, you can hit me directly in Mighty Networks on the 0%.net. I will check it. If I'm getting a lot of questions pertaining to one section of information, then I'm going to just address everybody at one time. All right. That being said, I was waiting for someone to send me their picture of the birth certificate in the chat. Let me just see if they did it. I don't think I got it. So if you're still on, send it directly to me in Mighty Networks, okay? And I'll take a look at it to see if you can still use it and move forward with it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody, and I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.